So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes, their challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And today, I'm delighted to have back with us Michael Cluskey, who's managing director at Go Shred Limited. So, firstly, Michael, thank you for coming back and spending a bit more time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, Go Shred, what you do, how you help people, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to see you again, Chris.
And you.
Um, my name's Michael Cluskey. I'm Managing Director of GoShred. We are a document management company. Predominantly, our services are confidential shredding, but we also look after document scanning and we also do document storage there to our business. And That's about it, really. We have approximately 4,000, well, over 4,000 customers now.
Wow.
So we're in and out of lots and lots of
Yep.
businesses from public sector to private sector. We cover a vast range of different disciplines within that, from the largest blue chips right down to clients, people who work from home, etc., who need confidential destruction doing and various other
Brilliant.
document based actions.
Brilliant. And we were trying to work out before we started how long ago we last spoke. It's probably 12, between 12 and 18 months, I'm guessing. And what I'm keen to know what's changed for you in the
Yeah.
business since we last spoke.
Well, I've been watching a lot of a gentleman called Scott Galloway, who's I may have met in the last one, and one of the things he's mentioned is diversification, and we've
Yep.
really started pushing more of the diverse element of business. As I say, our core business, my experience is in conventional shredding, but we're looking now to move into more the document scanning in
Yep.
particular. We do an element of storage, what we call routine storage, which is where something has X amount of a low number of years or X amount of months to go before it needs destroyed. We will store that, quarantine it, and then as the client needs it destroying, we'll destroy it,
Right.
pluck it, and put it into the construction machine.
That makes a lot of sense. And again,
Um,
sorry, go on.
yeah, no, I was just going to say that yeah, looking to diversify. So, as I say, we've moved a lot more, concentrating a fair bit more, in particular myself on the scanning side of things. So that's really picked up for it with a good tranche of customers who require that service as well as the documenting that we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
So, document scanning side of things is really taking off. We're getting more and more inquiries, doing more and more work on that, and that's really added an extra bow because what we're looking to do is to surround the customer and help the customer as much as we can. We have been fed back now for 11 years on how customer service is. So how can
Brilliant.
we help people? How can we apply that award with customer service within other arenas that we have good knowledge of? I happen to have a good knowledge of document scan, so that's been a great benefit to a number of our customers who are looking to move their existing stockpile of paper-based records down to even to stuff on microfiche or large scale. So we can do anything right down to a post-it note, right up to one poster, zero poster, handle anything in that range. And we found that that's really helped to solidify our relationships with our clients as
Yep.
well, because they know that they don't have to go out of house; they can deal with us.
Yep.
As I say, we've got a great reputation with our existing client base for just being extremely proactive, extremely good at what we do, and professional and quick and reactive as well. We need to be if the client needs something changing very quickly, we can do that. So they're punched to be able to put extra elements of their document management element with us.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And it's that ability to provide a range of services so valuable to clients, so we don't have to go for lots of different people. You mentioned customer service. Clearly, that's very important to you, and you're good at it. What are some of your, what might be a couple of top tips on providing a great customer experience?
I think I touched on this the last time we spoke, which was having a redundancy is difficult. You know, there's so many customers out there who work to just in time,
Yeah.
who work to trying to be as agile as possible. That's the business for it, isn't it? But it's
Yes.
really just having as the smallest amount of and engineers or operatives or staff as possible to be able to get something that won't turn customers off. We like to switch that on the head. It's how I started the company. I've come very much from I've come from manufacturing. I've got experience of service
Yeah.
levels within manufacturing, uh, product servicing there on hardware, working with software people across a diverse range, and then moved into the confidential shredding side of things. And you have to look at the levels and making sure that you keep people happy. It's never 100%. We've had customers because it's 10 pence cheaper. That we wish them luck and say we'll speak
Yes.
to them again very soon if happy. And most times that does happen. Um,
Yes, I'm sure.
we 100% concentrate very much on getting the customer service side of things correct by making. Here's one. We refuse, and we'll always refuse, no matter how big we are, how old we are, to have an automated answer service on the telephones. A human being will answer the phone
Brilliant.
and direct you. And the person who does answer the phone, we make sure that whoever answers the phone knows what's going on, knows how things are. And if they can't, they're blunt with the customer. They don't try and bluff their way through. They say, we will get back to you. And we
Brilliant.
make sure that automation is at there in place. Because of ISO 9001, we have an automated workflow system, obviously, a quality management system that manages that and makes sure that the are in place to make sure that a telephone call is returned as quickly as possible, a question is answered quickly as possible. And it's through that that we've managed to retain customers and grow our customer base.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
The other challenges I'll come to later. I'm sure we'll talk on the other challenges later, but that's what we do, try and guarantee excellent customer service. And we're now up to 260 Google reviews, and we have one review on there. And as I put in the reply to that review, respect the fact that you hold this opinion of how the failed service went, but actually you have a completely different view of that. One person.
Yeah.
And I challenge you to plow through the 260 Google reviews without clicking 1 star, to plow your way through and find that 1 star review amongst all the other 5 star reviews.
It sort of validates it though, Michael, doesn't it? That I think the human brain has a need for a level of skepticism. So if they were all perfect, and I'm sure you would love them ultimately to be all
Yeah,
perfect, then we don't necessarily have as much
yeah,
trust if a couple of them aren't. It's like okay, because they validate the ones that are in many ways. So I'd
yeah.
I'd suggest you see it as a positive, even though I appreciate it's a negative.
Yeah, well, I always suffix it with, well, I would, but it's a fact and text on it.
Yeah, absolutely fine. So, yeah, I mean, looking backwards over this last sort of 12, 18 months, what are some of the big wins that you've had and what some of the challenges you faced?
On the big win side of things, it's retaining some larger customers that we have. Uh, we got onto a framework agreement. I've always been very skeptical of framework agreements. I'm not a big fan of them. The
Yeah,
people that put them through, we got put onto one a couple of years ago, and it's been a really it's not been very good with from that sort of thing. So the big wins for us have been the retention of the existing larger client we
brilliant.
have, who are constantly testing the market, and it makes perfect sense for them. You know, we've had to on the reverse side of that, we've had to put our prices up. Obviously,
Yeah.
we couldn't soak up the pain that everybody else knows about. As anybody who I don't like saying this, as anybody who follows me on LinkedIn or is connected with me on LinkedIn
Yeah.
knows, I'm quite blunt with how I say this. And, you know, as I say, those framework agreements, I'm not a big fan of those. And
Yeah.
I'm not a huge people who move for 10 pence cheaper, because in the long run, it's going to cost them more. But it's the challenges recently have been people testing it and us having to put our prices up, really. But we haven't managed to retain our client base. We
Brilliant.
lose odd one or two, as I say. They tend to come later on once their draconian contract hoodie out of eventually that our competitors have. But
Yeah.
it's they're the big win for us. We brought on a few new, fairly sizable clients recently. If I'm sounding a little bit about all of this, it's because I can't really discuss names because of the nature of the work that we do.
Yes, of course.
So I'd love to be able to throw some names out
Yeah.
there. These are household names, you know, and some of them not household names. I'm quite proud of them that are working from home domestic products have done. That's gone from strength and is now a brand in itself. Our mini shred and mid shred packages,
Right.
which are 5 bags and 10 bags. You can just order those ad hoc.
Brilliant.
We're really proud of that product, and we've tried to hold the cost of that. We're the only shredding company, to the best of my knowledge, that publishes prices online.
Brilliant.
We're extremely proud that we're able to do that. If our
Brilliant.
competitors can go in and they can just off the bat say, "Oh, well, we'll do that for £1 less than them," and set some of their prices, when they'll know that if somebody's in the market and going out, they'll know from what their salespeople will know from what they're talking to them about, that they've been speaking to us, because they're
Yes.
concentrating on the things that we feel are important: customer service,
Yeah.
doing what we say we're going to do, and making sure that they're protected from end to end. And with that, there's an element of risk that people know we're charging. I think that in the long run, that's actually done us good. People just see what we're charging and just go, "Oh, do you know what? That's not bad. We'll go straight ahead with that." That's quite well for us.
It, it's interesting. There's a guy called here we go. I shouldn't have said this. What's he called? There's an American guy. Can't think of his name right now. But his proposition from a marketing perspective is what he calls it, that they ask, we answer. And what he said was, if you're buying a service, you're going to ask a bunch of questions, and if a website answers some of those questions, then I'm going to go to that website. It's like when I search for, as an example, how much it costs to
Mm,
shred documents. Um, Lots of businesses
mm,
won't have those prices. Won't share the prices. Therefore, they don't have a page that I can find. Whereas if you do, guess what I'm going to find when I say how much it costs to shred documents. Um, and so that
yeah.
principle is really fascinating, of answering all the difficult questions that actually people in our industry don't want to answer. But if we do, people will find us more easily. So it's a really interesting proposition.
It is 100%, but people are going back to what I said earlier about people's skepticism.
Yep,
Even the display front and center, it's not even below the fold. It's actually there when you go
yep,
to on our homepage on a PC, granted. So they might have to scroll a little bit, a
yep.
tiny bit on a mobile, but the prices are there, and yet we
Brilliant.
still get phone calls from people. And I think a few of them admit it. He says, This is going to sound really cheesy. I can't believe that it's that price. I thought it'd
Yeah,
be way more." Um, and
brilliant.
and the way that we've arranged it and the way that we work, and we've managed to make our collection so efficient and our routing so if we're able to do it for a price break that we think is pretty reasonable. Of course, we do face a lot of customers in Yorkshire, and of course, Yorkshire war cry is how much.
Yeah.
But we still get the vast majority of people's feedback that it's extremely good value for money, and stand by that.
Brilliant.
But back to what you were saying about websites, that's very interesting. That's been a real revelation over the last 2 years or so. We've had real problems with that, and we've actually found that something that we depended upon extremely well, almost totally, was actually putting people in through marketing, through things like AdWords and various other campaigns, and that's becoming more and more difficult now. So you just triggered in my mind that you mentioned there about websites. The websites are important, and but it's becoming. I think this is probably as good a part as any of the major challenges that we have as a small business.
Yeah,
is that doesn't have a sales force, a traditional sales force that are. We work to extremely high standards, and our competitors are the biggest in our industry. And that might be a little bit dismissive of other companies of our size, but we work at extremely high standards. We have ISO 9001 and BSEM 15713, which is the European and British shredding standard.
Right.
And it means that we have to be audited twice a year, and we have extremely high standards. We work very closely with our governing body to make sure that we're working at the various levels. That our competitors in that space are the huge players in our market, and we're not a huge player.
Right.
We're an extremely small team. So one of the biggest challenges for us is to send out a team of salespeople to go out and sell. And I don't have a room full of 5 or 6 people who are taking incoming and doing outgoing calls. We don't have that, so we have to depend more on word of mouth.
Yeah.
And on what I would now class it, believe it or not, as the traditional Google AdWords, etc. And that's just really, the costs were through the roof, but the results were not anything spectacular for the amount of money I could have employed probably a couple of people to go out and do field sales for me off the back of what we were spending on AdWords.
Right.
And he gaining the results that we got. So I think the problem is with Google AdWords, because it's so difficult to decipher what's going on in the background, etc. For someone who hasn't, I can't employ someone who deals day in and day out. So it will pretty much be myself interrogating the feedback from it, etc. And it was extremely difficult to understand whether or not, if I put a few quid more, if I tweaked this campaign, if I changed a few of those keywords, let's look at the search, let's look at this, let's look at that. Just didn't seem to be in the results. So we made a pretty tough decision, actually, about 6 or 7 months, just to really pare back on our spend on Google AdWords. And I've got to say, we've not seen any difference on the amount of incoming traffic, and the amount of inquiries pretty much remained constant. We were spending thousands and thousands of pounds a month on this, and I was the biggest advocate for it at first, because you'd have people saying, every time I go on my blooming mobile, your company crops up, and it's like, God, I'm really pleased to hear that.
Brilliant.
But I'm actually looking now and seeing, here's the next challenge. Can you ring anyone up now and cold call them? No, pretty much no. On the whole, nobody wants to take your call. Can I email someone? Or do you say, I've got that person's details? It's had the double click, we're fine with the Information Commissioner's Office, bought this extremely expensive closed data. Email all these people, and you just get a constant stream of the number one result of return emails is out of the office. The second one is, this person no works here. The third one is, please stop giving me these emails. I'm not interested in your product. Uh, um, and then like might glean one person who goes, actually, yeah. And that's so rare. You can't email, you can't phone people, you can't email people. Well, what do? Well, let's go out and dust at them. So you go around dropping leaflets, knocking on the doors. Hello, who's the person who looks after your credential shredding? Who looks after your document management, your scanning, your document storage, etc.? We're not allowed to give that information out.
Right.
Or it's on a buzzer and it's like, leave a little reception. So you can't even do that. So, I mean, old school sales are out the window. Google AdWords, not really for us anymore because it's just indecipherable.
Yes.
You know, the GDPR, as much as it was my industry, is also a killer for you know, trying to get people's information or trying to find out what's going on. And
Yeah.
it killed the. I was watching a video earlier by a good friend of mine on LinkedIn, and he was saying that GA results and Google Analytics results are they even worth the screen they're played on? Um, uh, not really anymore because of GDPR. You can't with unless people have clicked in and if they disable their cookies or do not accept cookies or whatever, you've no idea where it come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think the big challenge, and in the bigger companies, they will be pulling their out and trying to find out some sort of data-driven result for how we're going to see the future. Because for me, I'm really looking quite deeply into whether or not AI is, and I'm sorry to bring it up, such a meme now, but or not AI is going to be the future how we sell. And by that, what I mean is, are the chat GPTs and the deep seeks and those sort of people going to be the platform that we look to rather than Google
Oh, for
for
sure.
our results? Because these
For
people are
sure.
not people are going to start looking on Google. They're going to instead of going shredding companies near me on a Google search. All right, there's still going to be a huge people still doing that, but people are going to more and more and more just put in a string like, uh, who is the best value for money shredding company with the highest 5-star rating or whatever. And the second they start monetizing the results,
Agreed.
if they dare, because
Oh, they
people
will
want to
for
be able
sure.
to trust their search, don't they? So, but they're going to have to find a way to monetize the results or monetize it in some way, and that's going to have to be through advertising or whatever. How's that gonna is ChatGPT going to go? Well, do you know what? This company pays a lot of money to advertise with them, so I'm going to bound to give you their name, but actually, probably the best company near you is blah. And how do I, as a small business owner, turn my reputation, my 265-star reviews, which doesn't honestly that doesn't sound. Whenever I say it, it doesn't sound a lot, but trust me, have a look at how many reviews there are for our competitors, and they're
Brilliant.
way bigger than us.
Brilliant.
Um, how can I turn excellent reputation that we have into valid AI search return our potential customers? That's the one that I think we're all going to be looking to do over
Yeah,
the
I
next
agree.
18, 24 months before these huge conglomerates manage to corner the market on it. And once again, we're elbowed out, but we're elbowed out at a meta level, which means that we can probably never get back into the game.
Well, I think, yeah, I guess it's about being. I think I spoke to somebody recently, and he said it's not AI that's going to take over; it's the people that master AI, and it's how do you make that
Yeah,
work? So the fact that you educate yourself is great because I suspect you will be ahead of your competition for a significant period of time, and then it's yeah how we find innovative ways of marketing and Marcus Sheridan, the guy I was thinking of, and he might be worth a search up for you because that is very much looking at organic searches, which obviously aren't then affected by AdWords or AI. In fact, AI will probably find it more easily. But yeah, have a check on that. And I think you might remember from last time.
I mean, even the most Chris, even the most cursory look. Sorry to interrupt, but even the most cursory look, you'll see now that Google's a lot. Let's use that term. Google's changed a lot in the last just
Yeah, yeah,
18, 24 months. Do you remember when you pre-sponsored ones at the top and then you scroll down and then it was
yeah,
organic?
yeah, yeah.
Have a quick search for something, no matter what. Whoever's watching this or yourself, have a quick search, and if you haven't noticed it already, have a look at what your Google results page looks like, because it's changed
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, it's embedding AI in there already, isn't
I
it?
won't go any further. I'll let people.
No, no, it's good. I mean, AI is already embedded in it, as you can see, because the first response to any of those things is the Gemini response to the question that you ask. So it's, yeah, we do need to keep ourselves ahead of the game, I think, especially smaller businesses. Absolutely. And I think you remember from last time,
Yeah,
I like to
but what
collect.
if you're looking for a niche product, Chris? Forget our business. What if for a niche product? Full stop. Because face it, what we do is it's not a huge market. Only a few players in it. I think a lot of people imagine that there's 10 or 15 shredding companies in every big city. There are. There's probably there's a handful of shredding companies nationwide that are credible, that are accredited, that are certificated, sorry, to the correct levels that you're using. But if you're looking for a true niche product, and that niche product is predominantly provided by smaller providers, I mean, how is a large language model going to pick up the cues that are going to be able to give visible results without being extremely uh, diligent back end? Uh, and I'm failing to see how that will work. We'll see. You know, AI is coming ups and downs and growing exponentially. Never mind year in year out, day in day out.
For sure.
But I listened to a Rest is Politics podcast today, and there was a very interesting AI section that Rory Stewart was talking about. And he's turned from a real AI advocate into a little bit of it. He said he's worried his old friends calling him a Luddite now. Went out for my walk this morning, and that was quite the. I like to listen to podcasts because it takes my mind off the pain I'm going through as I'm going up and down and going for my walk. But that's another thing since we last spoke. I've lost over 40 kilograms,
Oh, well
so
done.
I'm quite
Well,
proud of that.
yeah, amazing. Well done.
Yeah,
And what
yeah,
did
yeah, yeah. So that's just in the last 6 months I've lost that.
brilliant. And is that you obviously mentioned walking regularly? What are the regime do you have to help you do that?
Well, it's actually it's I was pre-diabetic and I wanted to do something about it. And there's something called a pathway to remission. There's a test pilot in our area actually.
Right.
We're looking to roll it out nationwide through the NS. It's not injections. It's willpower, coaching, and dietary products. And I say it's absolutely amazing because not only have I lost the weight I lost in the first 3 months, I've managed to keep it off pretty much,
Brilliant.
and I've plateaued. And the program lasts for 12 months, and it's dietary products. It's app based. You got to keep reporting on your weight, your blood sugar levels, your blood pressure, and various other things. It's an excellent thing, and I honestly cannot say enough about it. I'm
Brilliant.
really not an injection guy. I think that's only a short term solution.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that I'm possibly at the spearhead of what I think is going to evolution over the next few years. And you can just look at the share prices and the quarterly report of the larger fast food manufacturers and providers, and just see that their results are quite worrying for their investors, I think, over the last, according to Scott Galloway, anyway, in Prop
Yeah,
G
yeah,
podcast, they're quite worried. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm from a personal view, I'm extremely pleased. I can
brilliant,
feel my arms again. I'm a lot more mobile than I was.
brilliant,
I've lost a third of my mass, which is good,
brilliant.
and yeah, I feel so much better for it.
Well done, absolutely fantastic. Great, great, great tier. And so
Mm.
looking forward then, Michael, what does the future look like for you guys, and what is maybe some of the challenges you face, if any, that we haven't mentioned already? Obviously, there's several that we've talked about.
Mm. Well, one of the challenges that we face, I think one of the macro challenges that all businesses in the service sector are going to confront over the next 5 years, let's say, let's give it a 5 year time span. I think one of the major things that we're all going to is through AI again. Actually, the compromising and the outsourcing and outboarding of services. That can be anything from the financial sector right through to a range of other ones that we haven't even imagined. But I think that the companies such as us who are providing office servicing uh, products are going to really a massive challenge. A massive challenge. As office shut down, as become automated, as more and more people. I mean, this is that I've actually found a little bit counterproductive. I think specialists for working from home. I get why they to do it, and I'm fundamentally I'm not against working from home, but I do think that a lot of people in national services are going to be diddling themselves out of a job, really, because if I can pay someone to work from home to do what they're doing, I can pay someone on another continent to be able to do what they're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
And people are going,
absolutely.
I don't come into the office. Well, that's fine. Well, South Africa, somebody on the Indian subcontinent, somebody really can do that professional service. And do you know what? It's not even customer facing. So even language barriers are less of a problem
Yeah,
now that technology is advancing. So I think that that's for service providers is going to be a very big challenge. I think that we're going to see a lot of consolidation, lots of M&A occurring in the next 5 years or so as people tighten their belts, do what they need to do, cut costs, and we're going to a big reduction in that. So I think the challenge smaller companies like mine is: do I keep going, or do I take the Yankee dollar and a day? And I think that's going to be very much a decision that's going to have to be made that over the next 5 years. For I'm not just talking about my business; I'm talking about every small business and every large business. It's going to change things drastically.
yeah,
It's going to
absolutely.
start happening pretty soon.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Michael, it's absolutely fascinating talking to you
Mm.
again, and obviously you've got your finger on the pulse of many things, including
On
where.
that positive note,
Well, I think I think the point is it's a note, isn't it? And we can choose whether it's positive or negative, and that's the point.
it's a
It's
yeah.
that I think there's a great phrase I learned years ago about, and it said the difference between a warrior um the difference between a warrior and a normal man is a normal person treats everything as a blessing or a curse. A warrior treats everything as a challenge.
Mm.
And it's yeah,
Yeah.
I there is a lot of opportunity in everything you've said as well as challenge, and that's it for us. I think
Yes.
the successful people are the ones that educate themselves and adapt and adopt to this changing world, because it is changing. That's the number one, and that has there is no there's no ifs or buts about that. It's changing. It's changing quite rapidly, and so yeah, we I think the key thing is we've got to make a decision and take action. We can't just sit and wait and hope, because
Mm.
that isn't an option, I would suggest. So yeah, I don't think it's negative. I think it
Well,
I
if I,
think
if I if I can give a if I can give a positive spin to this, just to people who might think, oh well, what am I going to do? I don't know whether it's in my DNA or what, but my dad learnt to code in HTML at the age of 75,
Brilliant.
and that was quite a few years ago now. He's unfortunately passed away now, but he built his. It looked awful, but he built his own website and did it all HTML.
Brilliant.
And I think that if you're prepared to see every day as a school day and not take anything as too much challenge, then yeah, you're 100%.
Yeah.
It's. I'm hopefully going to keep learning until my last breath. Really, that's my aspiration, and so we can, I think if you want to be successful, you have to do that. And I think that we can navigate the AI thing. I think it's definitely possible, but we make sure that the macro safety is put in place by people who trust in government. And around the world, I think this is something that's a humanity-wide thing. It's not a country-specific thing.
No, no, I agree.
It's not a culture-specific thing. It's a humanity-wide thing. But if we to do that, then I think that we have a blooming good chance of making the most of it, and need to get rid of people who are just going to be aimed and focused on it, make them their first train, shall we say?
Yes. No, it makes perfect sense. Well, as I say, it's been fascinating talking. And for anyone that would like to get in touch with you or Go Shred, what would be the best way of doing that, Michael?
Well, we're on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're still on X. I don't know why I'm still on there, but I still use social media aggregate stuff out onto there. That hateful little platform. We're on LinkedIn, but the major ways to get in touch with us are www. Do I even need to say that anymore? It's GoShred, GoShred.co.uk, or you can call us, and please do. A human being will answer the phone on
Brilliant.
0333 200 4468. That's 0333 200 4468. And we look forward to hearing from anyone, anybody, any business, how large, no matter how small. We can do your confidential shredding, your document scanning, and your storage.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Wonderful. Well, look, let's not leave it another 18 months before we get together again and get an update and probably talk further about some of the topics we've talked about today. But for now, thank you so much for your time.
You're more than welcome, and it's a pleasure to speak to you again, Chris.
Yeah,
Thanks for
absolutely.
having me.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. Thank you so much.